questions as we go along, raise those hands and we'll take care of them, okay? Be good. So why do the kids come out to camp and why do we do what we do? Well, we really, really, truly believe that if we help strengthen the kids' character and help them learning those social emotional skills that they need to be successful in life and in everything they do, they are going to be better students and ultimately they're going to be the people we want them to be when they grow up to be adults. So that's really why we do it. We do it all with the foundation of what we call the 4 principles: honesty, caring, respect, responsibility. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year out at Sherman Lake, and I can honestly say every single big decision we make has been made using those 4 principles. They're easy, they're simple, they're foundational, but the kids can grab onto them and understand what they mean and go forward. So we've even made it into a word. So if your kids come home and they're talking about hicker, it's not a bad word. It really is a good word. It's something that looks like you're being honest, you look like you're being caring, respectful, or responsible. And they'll talk about hicker a whole lot out at camp. When we do an activity such as archery, we're going to tell them this is all the safety aspects and these are all the things you need to know to do archery. But we're also going to ask them, what does honesty look like when you're doing archery? And how do you relate that back to what you do back at school? And how might it work when you're trying to solve a problem at school? So we're going to kind of intertwine all of that together as we talk about that character piece at camp. We're really going to have a whole lot of fun while they're at camp, but we're also going to learn while they are at camp. This is our mission. Again, you're going to see those 4 words in there: honesty, caring, respect, and responsibility. That's what we do. That's what we're all about. This is our character creed, and this is one of the things that we do just to kind of set our day and set the tone for the day. So I pledged. Do we have any kids here who've been out to camp this summer? Anybody? Yeah. You know the character creed? Remember it?
Different camp.
Different camp.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Camp is fun, wherever you are. But it's just a reminder to the kids of where we're putting our thoughts and where we're putting our words and where we're focusing as we go through the day. So we'll start out our day with the character creed. There's our staff for the fall. We just took that picture last week. A bunch of smiling, fun, eager people just waiting to get kids out there. We actually have our first group. We have a group of Marshall 6th grade students with us all week long this week. So we're out having fun. That's why I'm here, because everybody else is out having fun this week, having a good time. So why do we call it integrated education? Again, it's integrating that camp culture and the character education with the social academic curriculum. Your teachers can tell you they've been coming out for quite a few years. We really do try to talk about those great things that they do at camp. How do they use those back in the classroom? We all know if we have a really difficult problem to solve, that if you can relate it back to something you've done, like maybe climbing the hardest route on the rock wall that was really hard, how did you go about setting that goal? How did you go about thinking about the perseverance it might take to do that? And maybe you've got the same kind of problem that you need to think about solving back at school. So we're going to connect those two for the kids and help them think about it. There's been a lot of research done probably over the last 10 years or so, and it's been really fun for us in the world that works a lot with social emotional learning skills to see this research, because we've always felt it. We've always said we think what we're doing really works well. We think if we can help the kids build those strong character skills, it's going to pay off in other areas. Now the research shows that it does. In the public health realm, it promotes positive trajectories. So we're looking at things like decreased rates of drug abuse, of alcohol abuse, of early sexual activity, of doing things like that would send you on a really bad path. If you invest in social emotional learning, for every $1 invested, there's $11 payoff. So that return on investment is really really high, and it's nice to see there are things out there right now that are being invested. We are working with YUSA on what they call the Character Development Learning Institute. We were named one of 3 Ys nationwide about 3 years ago for doing really strong work in character development. Since that time, they've received a $23.1 million grant to invest in social emotional learning. And we've been lucky enough to be recipients of a lot of training and a lot of funding for things that we didn't have and we couldn't do before. And we're working in these 5 adult practice areas. So all those really pretty people you saw in the peach shirts that said "Be Hicker," they just went through a really intensive week-long training, and we focused in these realms. We talked about emotion management. How do you help kids recognize the emotions they're going through? And then how do you help them manage those emotions? Where do you go next with that? Responsibility. How do you help kids think about what we need to do to be responsible? What does it look like? What do you say when you're being responsible? Personal development, giving everybody the opportunity to lead, the opportunity to have a voice, the opportunity to try something new, a new skill, and moving ahead on that personal development. Even though they might hit a hard patch, how do we get through that? What do we do to move to the next step? Relationship building is one that's so important, and we do a lot of that at camp. These kids come in Monday morning, 10 a.m., they get off the bus, they meet 15 new people. By the time they get on that bus to go home on Wednesday, we have a lot of tears because they've made some really, really healthy, strong relationships. And they've built better relationships amongst themselves as well. Empathy. How do we help develop those empathy pieces? That's one area I think right now that in our world out there, empathy is one of those things that we can all work on a little bit more as we go forward. So there's the outcomes that we're hoping to create when the kids come back from camp. I think if you talk to your teachers and they look at that list, I think they might say they've seen some of those things come through, if not all of them. But those are the things we're going to work on, and we're going to work on them through fun activities at camp. There is never a dull moment. The kids will be going from the time they get up in the morning till they hit their bed at night. So it's a fast-paced way to go. There's just a little map of Sherman Lake. We have 360 acres, so there's a lot of space out there. Kellogg Hall, which is right here, is where the kids will come in. That's where we eat our meals. We kind of all gather, and then we spread out and do all sorts of activities. We have 10 cabins at what we call our lower village. We have another 8 in our upper village. The recreation centers where we have that great big wonderful pool. We have 2 gyms in the recreation center. We have an indoor rock climbing wall. So it doesn't matter if the weather is nasty and we can't be outside, we can go inside and have all sorts of fun things to do. So just a little glimpse of what Sherman Lake is like out there. That's Kellogg Hall. That's where you'll come first and you'll eat all your meals. It'll probably look like that too by the time you get there. Little fall colors going on, kind of nice. So when the kids first come in, they come into Kellogg Hall, and some of the lovely fun staff up there will do some things like lead them in some songs. Let's get to know each other. Let's kind of shake off some of those nervous feelings you might have and get going. And we'll talk about what are the expectations while you're here at camp. Then they get to meet their counselors. So their counselors will call them up. They'll probably high-five them or do something. And that's the first time they'll meet their cabin group. So they get to see who they're going to be rooming with while they're there at camp. That's always an exciting moment. Get everybody going. There is a picture with one of our counselors and the group of campers that he's with. And there's our girl picture. Hopefully we won't have snow when you're there. That would be good. No snow. But Alyssa is actually back with us this fall, so you'll get to meet her as well when you come out. So this is the important piece about packing. They're there for 3 days and 2 nights, and they will be taking all of their equipment back to the cabin with them. It's probably the equivalent of maybe 2 to 4 blocks walk, depending upon where their cabin is. Roller bags are great. Packing things like sheets or blankets or sleeping bags and roller bags and pillows, that's great because you can pull them along. You do see a lot of wonderful, great white plastic garbage bags. They're great. Something gets wet, you put it in, it's good. But remember, they all look the same. So if you pack in a big plastic bag like that, be sure you have your child's name on it so it all gets back to you. The suitcases are a little bit easier because they kind of match. Everybody knows that's my suitcase. Works a little bit better. So this is what our village looks like. I said there were 10 cabins. This is the Lower Valley Village with 10 cabins. There's also a large pavilion in each village that's covered. So again, if we have nasty weather, sometimes we can't use the archery range because it's too wet. We actually do archery right underneath the pavilion. Works out pretty well. There we go. That's what it'll probably look like October 21st, I'm going to say. Have some trees with some leaves falling on the ground. A little campfire area out there. Have some fun. And this is what the insides of the cabins look like. So, I don't know, Mom and Dad, how many of you went to camp as kids? Did it look like no carpet on the floor? Bathroom in the cabin? No, we've come a long ways. We've come a long ways. So we do a lot of floor work. So there is carpet on the floor. We do a lot of circle work. We call them our time circles, getting together, getting to know each other. So it is really comfortable. The cabins are heated by radiant heat through the floor, so the cabins are very warm and comfy and cozy. It's really nice. Those big drawers on the bottom, they slide out. So students, you're going to be able to unpack all your belongings and put them right in the drawer. It doesn't look real big there, but you'd probably fit in that drawer. That's how big they are. So everybody gets to unpack, put their belongings in the drawer. We put your suitcases up in there's a little loft area up in the loft. You get to make your bed, and you are all ready for your camp experience. Anybody like to bring something like a stuffed animal or something to sleep with? That's great. Feel free, throw that favorite stuffed animal in, bring it to sleep with. Yep.
How many people are in the cabin?
How many people in a cabin? There will be somewhere between probably 9 and 11, and then one counselor will be there with you in the cabin as well. Yep.
Is the cabin like separated by boys and girls?
The cabins, usually we have like one half of the village will be the boys and the other half of the village will be the girls. Or sometimes the boys will be in the upper village and the girls will be in the lower village. It all depends.
So how big are the beds there?
They're a full twin-size bed. Yep. So twin-size sheets fit on that bed if you want to send sheets with. What you want to do.
Is there a bathroom right in each cabin?
In each cabin. Each cabin has a bathroom, so they don't have to go outside and fight the bears, or actually the raccoons, or whatever at night. Yep. So there are shoe cubbies when they come in, so we really do talk about responsibility with the kids in the camp and respecting your area. So we do have the carpet, so they take their shoes off, put them in the cubbies when they come in. There's also a row of hooks that you'll kind of see right here, so they can hang up coats or towels or all of those kind of things and make it really cozy and homey. The counselors will usually decorate their cabins before you get there, so that'll be something fun. You'll be close to Halloween. There could be some Halloween decorations. Let's see what happens. There are also individual shower houses because we try not to have the kids shower in the cabin just because there's one shower. So the kids go to the individual shower houses, but these are individual showers. So the front piece is changing and the back area is the shower. So it's all individual, not like you're showering in a big shower room with everybody else. So one of the first things we do, once you get back to your cabin and you get your things all settled and all unpacked, is we sit down as a cabin group and we do what we call our community commitment. So if you're going to live with a group of kids during the week, your group of friends, what do you want to see happen? Anybody have any ideas? How do you want to treat each other? What do you think?
You want to use kind
You
words?
want to use kind words. Absolutely. That's a perfect one. Anybody else have another one? Something you want to see happen when you're at camp? Yeah. Want to be good friends? Make good friends? Yep. Anybody want to have fun while you're at camp? Yeah? Yeah, that sounds good. So what we're going to do is you as students are going to decide what your community looks like. What are the things you want to see in your community? So all those great things like be kind, make friends, have fun, we're going to write on the inside of this commitment. Anybody know anything they don't want to see in their cabin group? What do you think?
Bullies.
Bullies, absolutely. So on the outside, we would write no bullies. But then we would turn it around and we'd say, so if we don't want to bully, what is it going to look like? And you might say, we want to make friends. That's a really good way to not have bullies. So that's the first thing you're going to do as a group. The counselor will kind of help you and guide you, but this is your community, and you're putting together how you want to live while you're at camp. And then when you get done with that, you're all going to sign it inside the circle. And then you've got that community commitment, and that's what you're going to use to guide your actions while you're there at camp. So every evening you'll go back to the cabin and we do what we call roses and thorns. It's kind of a wrap up of the day. And you might say, in our community commitment, we forgot to put down that we want to not have people touch our stuff. So you might add that to your community commitment. That might be something you think, we want to add that to our community commitment because that's really an important thing. So it's a document that you're going to be using the whole time you're there at camp. Sound okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll look at that and that'll be kind of fun. Well, that's our dining hall. That's where you get to sit and eat. We have round tables, so you all get to sit together with your cabin group. We serve family style, so one person gets to wear the hopper apron, so there's a special apron you get to put on. You get to set the table for everybody before they come in to eat, and then you get to go in the kitchen and get the food that's coming out for dinner.
Do you know necessarily what the food is?
I don't right off the top of my head right now.
Because I'm vegetarian.
Oh, we'll be sure we have lots of options for you. Lots of options, yep. We have 3 female counselors who are vegetarian. So you don't have to worry. We'll get you covered. So here we go, we're serving hopper style there. It looks like they're having tacos, the way it looks there. So they've got all the fixing for tacos. But at the same time, we have the salad bar. The salad bar always has salad toppings and fixings and carrots and cucumbers and everything you want to put on your salad, cheese. But then there's also a hot bar selection. So today, what was on the hot bar? Ooh, chili. It was really good. We had chili. We had cheesy potatoes were on the hot bar. Chicken breasts were on the hot bar. And there was something else. So there's lots and lots and lots of different kinds of things to look at. Then there's also another little salad bar, short salad bar or sandwich bar, where there's always cold cuts, cheese, lettuce, tomato. Today there was hummus on there. There was an edamame salad. There was a chicken salad there. So there's tons and tons of options. And if we have any dietary needs, gluten allergies, anything like that, any diabetics who need carb counts, it's every day. We deal with it every day. So just let us know and we'll be glad to work with you on that. That will work really well. Amanda's our food service director. She and I, well, she's been there 20 years. I've been there 23 years, so we're used to working together. And what we do then is all the girls have their cabin, all the boys have their cabin, and when we go to activities, we group a boy and a girl cabin together, and we do what we call an activity group. So you go do activities as a group with a girl and a boy cabin. There's our pool. So in order to keep everybody safe in the pool, we do what we call a swim quest. It's not a test. We just want to see where your comfort level is in the water so we know where you should be to keep you safe. Basically, you swim from this end of the pool to the other end of the pool. If you're comfortable doing that, you can jump out. You go in on the other side and you tread water for 2 minutes. If you're comfortable doing that, then you get the band that allows you to go in both the shallow and the deep end at the pool. If you're not, you just stay in the shallow end where there's all sorts of fun things to do. But there is the pool. This is a climbing wall. So you climb up that wall and it actually tilts. So when you get as far as you think you can get, you just let go and drop into the pool. It's actually kind of fun. And then we do have the diving boards as well. So it is 12 feet, 6 inches deep on the deep end. Pretty deep. Challenge by choice is something that we really take to heart. We want everyone to go out to camp and have a really, really good time. And we want you to push yourself and try new things. But if you are terrified, we're not going to make you do anything. We're going to say, where's your comfort level and how can we help you go to the point where you feel like you're in your learning zone and you're trying, but we're not going to make you do anything you don't want to do. That's always a big question. What do we do? So these guys are getting ready to do a little activity out in the woods, which involves getting all of your teammates onto a platform using the rope swing. Kind of a fun thing to do. Here's another team building activity we're doing called pipeline, where you have a marble and you're trying to get it from point A into that cup. Everybody trying to work together to make that happen. They're planning their team building. They're trying to think about, okay, we've got this many pieces, but we have to go from there all the way over there to hit that cup. What do we need to do to make that happen? Might take some cooperation, might take some helping, might take some planning to make that happen. Absolutely. It's kind of fun. So I talked a little bit about that comfort zone. So how many of you, when you're home and you've got that favorite stuffed animal and you're maybe sitting there talking to mom and dad or playing with your cat or your dog, how many of you feel pretty comfortable? Yeah, that's my comfort zone too. That's a good place to be. Out at camp, we want you to kind of move out of that comfort zone into what we call the learning zone. So maybe you're a little bit challenged or you're a little bit nervous about trying an activity, but that's okay. We're going to be there to support you and help you and guide you. And that's where we want you to be. We want you to set some goals to move you into that learning zone. I'm sure when you're here at school, a lot of times you're in that learning zone, right? Learning new things, not sure what's going on. That's perfect. The panic zone is someplace we don't want you to be. So if you are absolutely petrified of heights and you don't know what you want to do when you look at that climbing wall, we're going to help you. We'll maybe help you get a harness and a helmet on and figure out how can we get you to your learning zone. Maybe your learning zone is putting a hand on the first handhold and your foot on the next handhold. Maybe that's where you're in your learning zone and you say, okay, I've reached my goal, I'm done. That's great. We're going to celebrate it just like you got to the top of that wall, because that's your goal. But maybe the next time you'll say, I think I want to go a little higher. Then you're in your learning zone. We're going to push you up to that learning zone. But we're not going to let you hit that panic zone, or if you do, we're going to get you right out of it and get you back down and feeling comfortable. Sound good? We'll keep you safe. There's our rock wall.
Whoa.
Yep, it's a lot of fun. Climbing, climbing, climbing. Away they go.
I'm scared of heights.
How many of you like to climb?
I'm
Awesome.
scared of heights.
Awesome. It'll be good. There's our outdoor climbing tower. It might still be open when you come. We'll have to see what happens. Oh, there's our tree climb outside. Lots of activity. There's a little bit of giant swing going on there. Kind of a fun thing to see. And a cargo net. So there's all sorts of ways to challenge yourself. There we have archery. And when you're doing archery, it's really important to think about what's your goal? How many of you would your goal be right dead center? Perfect. How many of you would maybe be that blue area? Maybe if you're first trying, that's a really good goal, right? And then you can work up can make a plan for how you're going to make that happen. You can try it a couple times, and then when we finally hit it, we're all going to celebrate what you did. Oh, here we have some archery going on. They're showing exactly how to hold that bow and get ready to go. Oh boy, he's about ready to go there. Oh, and this is our mine shaft. This is a big slide that kind of goes through one of our big hills, and that's what you look like when you come out the other side. It's just kind of fun. Oh, sometimes we do some geocaching at camp. There's some more geocaching pictures. And if the weather's bad, we hit the pool with the play axe. We've actually got new boats this year you guys are going to laugh at. We have some, what they're called as corkles. Have you ever seen a round boat? Mm-hmm. It's a round boat called a corkle. We're going to put them in with the play axe in the pool. They're just kind of fun. So we'll teach you some strokes, so when you get out on the big water, you know your paddling strokes and know what to do. We put some things in the pool for you to collect and see how you can paddle over to find those things, but it doesn't matter if that weather's not good, we'll still have fun in the pool. And there's the waterfront with canoes. There they go. We do a lot of tie-dyeing at camp. Usually we end up with tie-dyed hands. That's just a part of it, but they're all kind of a fun thing to do as well. Do some shrinky dinks at camp. Those are fun to do. There we go. And we do what we call some survivor things out in the at camp too, where you get to put your shelter together and figure out how would you survive out there in the wilderness of camp. Work on that. Fire building, we'll teach some fire building skills, and of course once you do fire building you have to do your marshmallows, and then you have to make that into a s'more. And you probably have to eat it after that as well. Anybody like to play Gaga? Okay, there we go. We'll sneak in some Gaga for you. That's always fun. There they go. And we'll play some games as well out on the fields, just having some fun. Any dodgeball fans here? Okay, usually we sneak a little dodgeball in as well. So we want you guys to set some really high expectations for yourselves so you can kind of go to success and think about what you want to accomplish. One of my favorite sayings is, where you focus is where you go. Set that focus high, set those expectations high. With the help of your teammates and your teachers, you'll make it there. Oh, there you have some underwater pictures. Those are kind of fun. Doing some games as well, spotted games. Ooh. You'll also get a journal when you come to camp. So this is our Hicker Reflection Journal. You'll have the opportunity to write in there every evening and to set your goal for the day. When you come back to school, we all collect them all, give them to your teachers. You usually get some kind of writing assignment when you get back to school, I believe, out of your journals. Yep. And then when you get all done, your teachers will send them home, and there is a note for your parents in there. So it's a good way for parents, you to look at what they did at camp. Because I don't know if your kids are like mine, but they're all grown up now. But when they came home from camp, I'd say, "What did you do?" And they said, "Nothing."
That's what I would say.
And I kept asking questions and didn't necessarily get a lot out of them, but if you take a peek at those journals, there'll be a lot of prompts that will help you ask those questions you're asking about. Oh, we might have to do some campfire. That's always a fun thing to do at camp. So, reminders. They already talked about returning your health forms. I think I saw October 11th as a deadline, correct? Your behavior expectations are the same behavior expectations that you have at school. We will work with your teachers while they're out there, but they're really basically the same thing you have for behavior at school, you have for behavior out at camp. Send medications with for your kids. The teachers will be responsible for passing meds, and I'm sure they're going to give you more information about that if they haven't already. Because we are a group campsite, illness is something that we have to be really careful of. So if your child vomits, or if they have a temperature over 100 degrees, we will send them home and ask that they remain home till they're 24-hour vomit-free or fever-free without medications. but it's really an important thing. You don't want norovirus going through your facility, and it's hard to tell if that vomit was something like that or if it was something else. So we have to be really careful about those. So packing again, you're packed for the number of days you'll be at camp. Oh, label everything. It's really important to label everything that comes to camp, especially if there's something that's really important. I would say don't send expensive items with, don't send things that you couldn't live with if they did not come back from camp. But put your name on everything. We will be outside, rain or shine, so rain gear is an important thing to have. An extra change of shoes, if it gets muddy and ishy and sloppy, extra change of shoes is a really important thing to do. If the weather should happen to turn cold, send snow pants, send mittens, send hats, send scarves. We love being outside when the weather is just kind of not so nice, because a lot of times that's when everybody ends up being inside, and we can have a whole lot of fun going outside and playing and doing things. Don't bring electronics. Don't bring cell phones, iPods, iPads, Kindles, video games, pocket knives, none of those things. Disposable cameras are great. Be sure they have a name on them. Bring a water bottle. That's one of the most important things to be sure you pack. Make sure it has their name on it, but that water bottle is really important. We are out and going and out and about all the time. Kids drink a ton more at camp than they ever do sitting in school, so that's an important piece. Flashlight is another important piece. We do have some dim pathway lights, but flashlights are a real important thing to send with. Bug spray, if we still have bugs, that's another important thing to take with. Here's some questions you can ask your kids when they come back from camp, some little prompts that you might want to think about to ask them. We have had kids come back from camp and their parents have let us know that they were much more helpers when they came back. They set the table, they cleared the table, they did all sorts of things that they learned at camp and had a really good time doing. So those are some great things. So questions? Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
Do you randomly choose who our roommates are?
Yep. And your teachers will talk more about that as well.
Can we pick our own who we bunk with?
I don't believe so. So we'll figure that out, but camp is the very, very best time to make new friends. That's why you come to camp. So my daughter is really old. She's 32. Isn't that old? So that's really old. So the first time she went to camp, I had to laugh. So she went to camp, and I picked her up and I said, "How was camp?" She, "Oh, it was great." She didn't go with any friends. Her older brother was there, but he's 5 years older. She hardly saw him. It was the best thing in the world. I loved it. So the next year she went to camp and she invited 3 friends. And I picked her up. "How was camp?" "I'm never going to camp with friends again." So what happened? She said, "I got to meet so many new people when it was me, and I didn't have to hang around all my friends that I already knew. And that's what I want to do. I want to go to camp and make new friends and make new connections." So it's really a great opportunity to maybe meet some of those people that you already see and you already know, but maybe they've never been in one of your classes. And you might find your new bestest friend in that camp cabin. So it's great, great opportunity. Any other questions? Do you guys want to add anything?
Parents, it's your turn to chime in if you need
Yeah.
to. This is a parent meeting tonight, so.
And if you have any things you want to talk about individually, I'll stick around when we're done and you can come up and I can make some notes. Yep, one more.
You said there were drawers at the bunk.
Uh-huh.
Were there screws at the bottom bunk or there drawers at the top?
There's 2 drawers, so you each get a drawer, whether you're in the top or the bottom bunk. And they're